Hello? Is this thing on? Hello, and welcome to the Above It All program. Is it a show? Maybe. A movie? I don't know. Is this a movie? I don't know how long it's going to be, but it could be a movie. Wouldn't that be cool? Welcome to the Above It All show, everybody. Today is Friday. Not really, actually. I lied to you. I'm a liar. It's actually not Friday, but this is a Friday show. So, it's Friday, but it's not Friday, but it is a Friday show, but it's not Friday, but it is Friday, but it's not a Friday show, but it is a Friday show, but it's not a show, Yeah! Anyway, this is the Above It All program. I'm going to be covering news, and other things on today's show. I posted a video recently asking people for story recommendations, so I'm going to be integrating some of that. I will not be integrating all of it. I apologize if that is offensive to you, but maybe next time I'll talk about those subjects. So I got a burp. Just hold on. All right. This is the Above It All program. Everybody, 1,856. People have been asking me where and what and why and when. And I took a break. And I thought about my life. Thought about things adjacent to my life. And I thought about this whole experiment called the Above It All show. And I thought to myself, I need a change. I need a format change. I need to experiment even further with the experiment. So that's what we're doing here. And I'll be talking a little bit. I've had a lot of I guess revelations. I don't know. As well about things, and it's changed my political outlook. It's changed my demeanor. Over the last 2 months, I have, I'm going to go into this more later, throughout this show, possibly in the next show, whatever. But, I got a new angle, and I hope you enjoy it. But this is a new show, and I know people are waiting, like, people are anxiously, like, where's the fucking news? Where is it? I don't know. Stay tuned to find out. Over 60 militant anarchists face RICO indictment over Atlanta Cop City demonstrations and attacks on police. Now, I'm reading this from Fox News. We all know about Fox News. How do you not know about Fox News? But you might be wondering, why am I reading this from Fox News? Well, because I want to know what the fuck the fascies are saying about it. That's why. And so there you go. This is from September 5th. It's a while ago, but I haven't done a show in a while. So I'm going to talk about... I'm going to read this article, and I want to talk about what's going on with this whole bullshit. So you may not know what RICO is. RICO is a specific set of laws that they basically kind of instituted in the 1980s, around that era, mostly to go after organized crime, like the mafia. And basically the principle is that it's going after organized crime, right? So what was the attempt to steal the election by Donald Trump? The attempt was they organized, right, a crime. It was organized crime. So one of the district attorneys or some shit in in Georgia indicted Trump and his goons on RICO charges. And now Republicans are like, well, a RICO's got dang well. And then they're attacking Cop City protesters with RICO charges. So what is Cop City? What the fuck, Cop City? I mean, what is this fucking shit, like Judge Dredd, motherfucker? Like a Sylvester Stallone and Carl Urban? Like, are they just gonna, like, come out and co-opt this shit? I don't know. We'll find out. But Cop City is essentially what they're trying to do is they're trying to build, like, an international training compound for policing. I know and read that there are connections to the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, which is a fascist Gestapo. And also, they want it to be an international training compound, but also a national training compound. They want to have, like, all cops in the country go there to learn. And it's bizarre. They're also trying to do this in the middle of public land. No one wants this except for the fascists. And they also were facing protests over a long period of time, an extended period of time, like multiple months. There have been sustained protesting against the construction of Cop City. A protester was shot and killed for no reason. Unarmed protester shot and killed by the police for no reason. And that escalated tensions between the protesters and the police, so much so that the cops and the Republicans in the state government are trying to find a way to send the Cop City protesters down. And they're basically trying to do this, like, both sides thing. Well, like, you got Trump on RICO, so we'll do RICO for these guys. Now, if you look into the RICO indictment, they explain, like, again, what is the RICO set of laws? Well, again, it's to go after organized crime, right? So their claim in the indictment is that there's an organization known as Antifa that was born on, like, May 29th, 2020, or some shit like that. And these are members of the organized criminal syndicate Antifa. Now, for all of those people living in reality, Antifa does not exist. There is no organized Antifa. It's not real. Especially the idea that there would be an organized group from, 3 years ago in a completely different state, and that it's like, so it's a national like, it's just one of those conspiracies, right? So what is Antifa? I know we've been through this 9,563 times. Antifa is a shorthand for anti-fascist. It means you do not like fascism. It is a label. It is an identifier. Now, are there groups that are anti-fascist as their singular identifying label for the group? Yeah. That doesn't mean being anti-fascist is a group. I mean, I understand Americans are fucking stupid and they don't know what words mean, but it would be like if I said conservative was a group. Not conservatism, not conservatives, but conservative, singular, is a group. Liberal is a group. Not liberals, not, the fucking state Democratic Party of Minnesota. Liberal, singular identifier. That is, they're saying anti-fascist is a group. Again, it's just illiterate. So another part of this indictment is basically saying that the criminal organization that doesn't exist started in May of 2020. You may remember what happened in May of 2020. And that they've, like, sustained their criminal enterprise, and the Cop City is just the next extension of their crimes or whatever. Now, what are the crimes? Handing out leaflets. Now, again, the RICO laws, right, what were they going after? Mobsters, murderers, right? People that would control entire towns and districts, extorting them for money, right? Now let's look at Donald Trump. They tried to overthrow the U.S. government and install a dictator. Now let's look at Cop City protesters. What are they doing? Handing out leaflets and screaming in a megaphone. So, let's read what Fox News has to say. More than 60 so-called environmental activists were charged through a RICO indictment for allegedly conspiring to block construction of an Atlanta police training facility in Georgia's Woodlands. So is protesting a crime? Now, I know Republicans say yes. Protesting is a crime. Because they don't believe in the Constitution. They don't believe in freedom of speech. They don't believe in the First Amendment. But the idea that protesting a police training ground that's supposed to be like an international headquarters for murder is... I'm sorry, I can't. Like, I mean, this is so blatantly fucking stupid, it's kind of ridiculous. The mostly out-of-state members of Atlanta Forest, described as a self-identified coalition and enterprise of militant anarchists, eco-activists, and community organizers, is accused of coordinating, advertising, and conducting direct action. In quotes. Now, if you're somewhere on the left and you've gone to protests, you've done any of that, what does direct action means? It basically means anything but voting. Right? If you are going to a homeless shelter and giving people food or supplies or clothing, that is direct action. If you go even like, let's say something that's even more likely for people to do. If you give your money to a charity, now, I personally think that that's the weakest form, but it is still direct action, right? You are actively and directionally providing resources and help to a specific purpose or group. That is direct action. So, now, the idea that the government is going to put, like, direct action in quotes and pretend as if it means that they're trying to, like, blow up the fucking, like, the forest or something. Like, what the fuck are they talking about, right? But obviously, again, when it comes to the government, they can just put fake charges on people. And then what are these 60 people, I think it's 61, I'm not sure, going to have to do? They're going to have to go to court. That's multiple days over the course of the next year or maybe 2 years that they're going to miss work. Now, this is something I've experienced. During my time doing protests, I've had government put fake charges on me. And they know it's fake. They know that they're not going to get a conviction. The point is not necessarily to get a conviction. And who knows? I mean, this country's fucked, so we might get a conviction here. It's possible. I doubt it. But they've put fake charges on people as an intimidation tactic. I've said this before, but like I was saying, I have been a victim of having a government put fake charges on me. When I was doing active protesting a couple of years ago, there were a bunch of people, a dozen, maybe more, people that got fake charges. We are accusing you of doing something you had nothing to do with. Right? It's right, because what is charging someone with a crime, right? They charge you with it. That puts you in a position where you're mandated to go throughout a legal proceeding, right? In the state, often they know what they need to get a conviction, and they know that they don't have sufficient evidence. So it's not about getting a conviction, it's about annoying the shit out of you. That's what it is. So when I was doing protests, they put a bunch of fake charges on a lot of protesters, and a lot of those protesters stopped protesting. They just gave up. They got scared. It worked. Intimidation works. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to happen in Cop City, that all 60 of them are just going to stop protesting, right? To me, when I got hit with fake charges from the state, it made me more militant in my protest action. And, you know, I feel like the people in Cop City are probably, I think most of them are probably going to have enough solidarity to band together and not give up. But again, that's what the goal is, intimidation, and it does work a lot of the time. I would even say most of the time. Intimidation does work. But this is a situation where we're in a national situation. We can probably, I'm sure that the Cop City people have, funds, collective funds that they've got being raised. But let's keep talking about this a little bit. Where were we? Okay. Designed to prevent the construction of the Atlanta Police Public Safety Training Center. I love that Orwellian ass shit. Like, Atlanta Police Public Safety Training Center and Shadowbox Studios, previously known as Black Hall Studios, to promote anarchist ideas. According to a copy of the Fulton County, Georgia indictment obtained by Fox News, Public Safety Training Center. I love that. I love that shit, public safety. Like, motherfucker, we have the government giving billions of dollars to gangsters so that they can go around murdering people for fun. Again, a Cop City protester was shot, killed for no reason. They didn't run at the cops with like a nuclear weapon. They didn't have like an AK-47 coming down from a ladder on a helicopter, right? They were just a protester, and they got shot and killed for no reason, right? By the people that call themselves public safety. I mean, again, it's the fact that not everyone can see through this garbage to me. It makes me depressed. I mean, people that think, oh yeah, the cops are just here to goddamn protect us. I mean, they're dumber than dog shit. I mean, I'm serious. These people are so fucking stupid. And that's the thing, it works. I'm telling you, like, the cops would not do this shit if it did not work. It has a track record, a multi-hundred-year history of working. You just lie to people about your intentions, and for some reason, most people will believe them. It's crazy. The prosecutor said the actions of this anarchist, anti-police, and environmental activism organization include vandalizing private property, arson, destruction of government property, attacks on utility workers, law enforcement and private citizens, and gun violence, all while promoting virulent anarchist ideas. Now, what is a virulent anarchist idea? Is this show a virulent anarchist idea? I'm not sure. Now, again, let's look at the facts here. One of these people was shot and killed by the cops. Now, if a cop was shot and killed by a protester, I feel like, I haven't really been paying attention to the news for the last couple of months as much as I used to, but I feel like I would have heard about this. If the cops started, like, if it was like 5 cops got shot and killed in like some fucking massacre gun battle between an Antifa criminal syndicate and the public safety, I feel like I would know about this, right? Right? I mean, hey, maybe it happened. Who knows? I guess we'll find out during discovery. Let's keep going here. The same statute former President Donald Trump and his allies are charged under, blah, blah, blah. The indictment over Stop Cop City encampments and demonstrations. Some defendants are also facing charges of domestic terrorism, first-degree arson, and money laundering. Money laundering. Now, again, what would be money laundering in this instance? Having a Cash App where you post on Twitter, hey, we're trying to get some money for food so that we can feed people? And that is what they're going to go with for money laundering, motherfucker. I'm telling you, these guys are out of control. The group formed in the aftermath of George Floyd's killing in Minneapolis as an anti-government anarchist in Atlanta recognized an opportunity to rally against law enforcement. The indictment says, prosecutors say that after the justified Atlanta police shooting of Rayshard Brooks. Now, again, justified in quotes. I like the justified as in quotes because, I mean, it definitely was not justified. I remember seeing that. I don't think any police officer killing someone is justified just as a matter of principle. I don't really care what the situation is. Maybe, possibly like a school shooting thing, maybe we can right? But even then, I really don't think the cops killing people is acceptable. Especially in a situation where technology is so advanced. Like, why don't we just have tranq darts, Like, don't we have fast-acting tranquilizer darts that we can fucking shoot through a goddamn fucking, like, straw? Like, come on now. I've seen the movies. Like, what the fuck? Do you really need to shoot someone in the face or in the back in order to, like, stop terrorism or whatever? No, you don't. It's not required. Eventually, 8-year-old Ciceria Turner was shot and killed by armed gang members after her mother attempted to drive around a zone checkpoint. Oh, right, that's the autonomous zone. I missed the part. After the black man violently concussed a police officer, I mean, good for him. Activists formed an autonomous zone. Someone was killed in the autonomous zone. So, what they're trying to do is they're trying to pretend like the same people in 2020 that did things in 2020 are the same people that are like organizing a criminal syndicate now. Now, again, what is the crime? Right, they're alleging that there's like arson, gun violence, but where's the evidence of that? Where's the crime? Right, so there is no group, and if there is a group, it's like as serious of an organization as like a group chat on like fucking Xbox Live or whatever, right? It's not that serious, right? It's not like they're not a 501c3. They're not like, right? They might have like a Cash App or some shit, right? So those people that did something 3 years ago, there may be a couple people that were actively protesting 3 years ago that are involved in the current movement for Stop Cop City. That doesn't mean it's a group all of a sudden, right? That's like, so if I go to a concert for one of my favorite bands and then I go to another concert 3 years later, like, and let's say I bring one of my friends and the next time I bring the same friend, does that make me a fucking organizer? Like, you know what? It's stupid ass shit. So now the rest of this article is just going to go into this whole, like, fucking, 2020, the leftists destroyed everything. Bullshit, so we can skip that. It reached a fever pitch in January 23, with the January 23 death of 26-year-old Manuel Esteban Paez Terran, the non-binary activist who went by Tor to Gita, allegedly shot a state trooper in the abdomen. And Terran was killed by law enforcement's return fire. Now again, did it really happen? I haven't seen, like, where's the body camera? Like, I feel like, now again, let's assume that this individual did shoot a cop. I say self-defense. That's my opinion. Stand your ground. That's my opinion. But if that did happen, wouldn't in this article there be like a link to the body camera footage? Like, I'm just saying, right? Like, just throwing that out there. But even then, that's not a death sentence. You're a cop. You sign up for that shit. Not a death sentence, right? But again, there's also no proof of this. So these people are getting fucked in Atlanta. They're gonna go through probably multiple years of extensively expensive shit. They might get fired from their jobs. Like I said, I have been through a similar, I never got RICO'd or anything, right? But I've been through a somewhat similar experience, so I can talk from experience here. When I was involved with protesting, and I, along with a dozen to 24 people, were attacked with fake charges by the government, people's employers, right? They don't care that it's a fake charge. They don't care that they got exonerated 2 months later. People got fired. People lost their jobs. Because all an employer hears is, oh shit, you're a criminal. What happened to innocent until proven guilty? Right? And so now it is technically illegal to fire someone because they have court appearances. But of course, you know, they always come up with other ways, especially in a right to work kind of environment. And so the whole point of this kind of stuff, now again, they might get a conviction because it is a fascist government. But the whole point of this stuff is mostly intimidation. They want to intimidate not just the 61 protesters. There could be more than 61. That's the last number I heard. They want to intimidate them, and they're using them as an example to intimidate everyone else. And so that's why solidarity is extremely important on this situation. But this is my take on the RICO situation. It's really bad, really fucking stupid, and it's only going to get worse. I mean, I don't know what to tell y'all, but it is only going to get worse. When it comes to protesting, more people are going to get killed by cops, right? When it comes to fascist governments putting fake charges on people, it's going to happen more and more, especially if a Republican is in office, right? So, I don't know, man. Pretty scary ass stuff there. But there you go. Now, I guess you're informed. Though I think most of my audience already knew about the situation, so I don't know. What am I even doing here? It wouldn't be a classic above it all experience if I didn't talk about stupid ass garbage that doesn't fucking matter whatsoever. So let's talk about the dress code in the Senate. Is it Congress or is it just the Senate? I think it's just the Senate. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Republicans, I I have fully understood just how depraved and stupid Republicans are for many years, but just the level of cringe, it never ceases to impress me, honestly. So this is an opinion piece from Liz Peek. Fetterman dress code fail begs big question about America's steep decline. Now, is America declining? Yes. America is a failed empire. America will cease to exist. My prediction is America as we know it now will cease to exist in the next 20 to 30 years. That's my prediction. What does that mean? That means there's going to be some coup. There's going to be a balkanization type situation. There's going to be a war that changes the borders in some way, either expands or contracts. That's my opinion. It's going to get really bad in this country very quickly. But the idea that motherfucking John Fetterman wearing a hoodie to the Senate is responsible in any way for the downfall of this shithole country, I mean, I would like to hear this argument. So let's read. Democrat, or should I say demon rat, John Fetterman is not just a prime example of arrested development. He is a symbol of the dumbing down of standards and expectations that is undermining a great nation. Fetterman, the overgrown man/child elected to the Senate last year, is mainly known for wearing hoodies and gym shorts. That's not true. I'm not in Pennsylvania, but I mainly know him as the guy who fucking, destroyed Mehmet Oz in a Senate race. That's what I mainly know him for. So, that's just not true on its face. I mean, I know he wears gym shorts in the Senate, even before the dress code was changed. Oh, dear heavens. But he's not mainly known for that. I mean, come on now. A look that he thinks is cool. Now, I just want to say, it is cool on an objective level. I'm sorry, facts don't care about your feelings. It is cool, okay? Which also serves as a middle finger to the establishment. Now, what happened, so they're pro-establishment now? What happened to this, fake populist bullshit where they're like, we hate the establishment, the rhinos, the deep state, the swamp. Right now, this bitch, I don't know anything about Liz Peek, I'm just, but now this bitch is like, oh my god, the establishment is under attack, the gym shorts, it's gonna be the last straw, The Pennsylvania legislator is so uncomfortable wearing the normal garb of successful people. I love that, successful people. Occupying important roles in our society. Yo, the fact that this is published in a newspaper is insane to me. This bitch is she is on some hardcore hallucinogens right now. Holy motherfuck. A suit and tie, for instance. Then Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has relaxed the Senate dress code apparently to accommodate this slovenly member of that august body. Yeah, this bitch is bringing out her 12th grade level. Historically, there was no written dress code of the Senate. All members were adults, and they did not need to be told that respect for the institution was required. They did not need to be told that respect for the institution required them to dress as such. No longer. Yo, this bitch is writing her shit it's fucking a fucking, I don't even know. This is some speechwriter shit. She's practicing these words in front of a podium. She's trying to be poetic with this, but it's look at this. I mean, it's cool. I don't know what to tell you. Even Bernie, I love Bernie. He looks cool as shit almost all the time. Even Bernie looks like a fucking dork. Bernie needs to have his fucking face stuffed in a toilet bowl while the fucking flusher is on loop, right? Compared to fucking King John Fetterman. I'm just saying, y'all know I love Bernard. I'm a huge Bernard fan, but I'm just saying, I mean, and the rest of them, I mean, Ed Markey, he's got that weird eyebrow thing. You see that going on? I don't know why his eyebrow is like that. It's like a cartoon. I can't do that. Maybe I can't, the one eyebrow, I don't know how people do that. I have to hold this eyebrow down, right? I can only move 2 of them at a time. So I don't know how Ed Markey is doing it. Maybe he's got a secret there, but anyway. The elimination of the Senate's dress code is the least of our problems. Much more worrisome for our country is that the same lowering of standards is taking place everywhere, often in the name of equity or racial justice. So, now, I mean, there's like a meme, if you will, in the scientific sense. There's like a meme that, like, everyone on the left, all they talk about is race and white supremacy, right? You may agree or disagree with that. And you also may agree that it is something that everyone doesn't shut the fuck up about and that it's good, or you think that they won't shut the fuck up about it and that it's annoying, whatever. But that's a meme that exists. But this bitch is trying to tell us that John Fetterman wearing a hoodie in the Senate is somehow related to racial justice. Like, John Fetterman, a white-ass motherfucker wearing a hoodie in the Senate, is somehow related to racial justice. Like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, is this, like, I mean, again, like, she is on something. I don't know. Educators across the nation are ditching tests and grades, prompted by declining performance and self-serving teachers' unions complicit in the decline. Now, there's also a pandemic going on that has been shown to lower IQ and destroy people's immune systems and also destroy their ability to even think about things in a basic fashion. So yeah, that's going to lower pretty much everything in society. Everything is getting worse, probably because of the ongoing pandemic that's killing and disabling millions of people, especially kids. Remember the lie that people told you that kids were somehow magically immune to COVID? Turns out kids are just as susceptible to COVID. They just don't have as much of an acute phase. So they still develop long COVID at the same rates as adults. They just don't have an acute phase as often. So they're more likely to be asymptomatic, right? Well, we should have waited for the science on that one. But it's definitely not COVID, right? In this bitch's universe. It's because of teachers' unions. Yeah, teachers' unions wanting more money for classrooms so that they can buy extra supplies, books, utensils, arts and crafts kind of stuff, so that they can teach kids more effectively and also not have to spend their own money from their salary on equipment for their students. That's causing a decline in kids' ability to comprehend and score well. Also, the idea that scores on a test are like how we measure intelligence, to me, I think it's bullshit. I think IQ is bullshit also. I just use it as a matter of, speech. But, I mean, again, we're talking, like, this isn't a newspaper. This is on the, like, I saw this shit on the front page of Fox News, you know? Like, what? What? So, John Fetterman's hoodie is secretly, like, a way to, like, to Trojan horse to bring in racial justice. And the decline of intelligence among kids, totally not the ongoing pandemic that has infected them multiple dozens of times in the last 3 years. Definitely not that. It's teachers' unions wanting more money to have so that they can teach kids with more supplies, more books, more resources. That's making kids dumber. Giving them more books with more words, higher quality words, that makes them dumber. Giving them more pencils makes them dumber. Like, okay, I mean, all right, that's interesting. In Portland, Oregon, authorities are considering new equitable grading practices, which would no longer penalize kids who cheat or who skip their homework because historical data shows racial disparities in students' pass-fail rate. The new approach is meant to be more fair. Talk about the soft bigotry of low expectations. I want to tell a story. This is something I've said multiple times. I dropped out of high school. And one of the reasons for that was because I was chronically disabled as a child. I was sick all the time. And one thing that I like to say is that I failed a certain class in high school with over a 100-point grade, right? And I failed because of attendance. Now, there are other classes where I failed with 80s. Now, an 80 is a perfect grade if you didn't factor in homework. When I was in school, now I don't want to sound like, one of those cool kids or whatever, because I was certainly not a cool kid. I got bullied all the time. But when I was in school, I decided I'm not doing homework. I refuse. Right? Now, first of all, I didn't need it. I could always pass all the tests, right? And like I said, I failed classes because of attendance, but I had 80s in classes, and the final grade usually in some classes, it depends on the teacher, the district, whatever, but in some of these classes, the final grade, 20% of the final grade would have been homework assignments, and I just refused to do homework. Now, the idea that like just homework in general is just fucking insane to me. Like, it's fucking sane. Right? And the fact that homework is just busy work is also insane. Like, if it was homework in the sense where it's like you bring home like a box and it's like a science experiment that you do at home with your family or something, like, like the Sprite volcano or some shit, that's cool. That's homework. That's fun and interesting and engaging. But the idea that you just take home a fucking piece of paper to fill out at home, bullshit. Fuck homework. Fuck you. That's a good thing. Fuck homework. It's fucking stupid. It doesn't do anything. It's just busy work. It's a form of control. Fuck you and fuck homework, okay? And the idea that this is somehow a liberal thing. I mean, does anyone remember No Child Left Behind? Something that George W. Bush championed, what the fuck? I don't even know. Okay. Degrading traditional assessments does not help the kid who gets away with cheating and falls into lifelong bad habits. Who may need extra help in the classroom, it certainly does not help children who behave and who work hard. They deserve recognition and reward. Okay, so they're basically saying that homework doesn't matter as much and cheating isn't as big of a deal. And somehow that means, like, the valedictorian is suffering. Like, what? What? Even in higher ed, the push for equity is lowering the bar. The Metropolitan State University of Denver no longer requires that students use standard American English because it is a social construct that privileges white communities and maintains social and racial hierarchies. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what that means. I'm just being straight up. I don't know what standard American English means. And, like, is this supposed to be like another form of, like, you have like Ebonics? Remember this? Like, this was like a thing I was taught in school. You're not allowed to speak Ebonics. What the fuck does that word mean? I'm not sure. But like, is that what this is supposed to be? Like, you have to speak proper English in order to, like, I don't know. Like, personally, I'm a fan of the English language, but people have accents. People have different ways of speaking. That's fine. I like to change my accent for recreation a lot. I don't know if you've noticed that. So if this is like, we need to enforce a specific accent of English, I mean, that's fucking stupid. So if they're doing away with that, if that was a policy and they're doing away with it, okay, good. Good. I mean, you can teach people English. Who cares about their accent? I don't know. Like, I never went to school in the South, but I lived in the South. I don't know, the idea that, like, Southerns aren't discriminated against, but it just so happens, right, when it comes to black people and black communities, right, just so happens the way that they talk, we don't like it. Right? I'm just saying. I don't know, man. Go to the South sometime. A lot of white people sound really fucking crazy in the South. You can barely fucking understand the words that they're saying. But that's completely fine. I'm just saying, that's my guess as to what they're talking about here. But to be honest with you, I don't actually know what standard American English fucking means. Okay, I don't really know. And then we have a big bold text because it's super important. John Fetterman is the poster child for celebrating mediocrity. He lived off his parents until the age of 49. I mean, we could say that about the last president of the United States, Donald Trump. And has had one job of substance, mayor of a small town that actually shrank under his watch. Now, the town shrank under his watch? What does that mean? It shrank. Like, did the economy shrink? No. If that was the case, they would have said that. The population shrank? Is that a bad thing? This infinite growth capitalism religion is like, your city is measured by whether or not the population increases or decreases. Like, what? Now, I mean, I guess the argument is that, like, people didn't like living there, so they moved out, and, like, no one wanted to move there. But it's like the idea that that's based on his governorship as a mayor. Like, I mean, you could make that argument, but this is not making that argument. It's just stating that it shrank under his watch. Like, there's no argument. It's just like a statement that's like value neutral, right? Like, what the fuck is shrank? Okay. Wow. Damn, I didn't know that. Holy shit. The harm done by such foolishness is profound. Semicolon. The school acknowledges that SAE is a version of English that is often expected in professional educational settings. Yes, not demanding that students learn to speak and write properly will almost certainly hold them back. Now, I just want to say this. Republicans are the most illiterate group of people in the country. So the idea that a Republican is trying to like lecture black people about how to speak properly and write properly, to me, is hilarious. Republicans are notoriously fucking stupid. I mean, you look at this fucking shit. Like, this is an example of a Republican who knows how to use grammar, but doesn't know how to actually interpret and speak the language that she's like, she can write words, but there's no substance, right? Like, she has all technical skill. I'm assuming Liz Peek is a she, by the way, so I apologize if I'm incorrect. But, it's all technical skill in this, piece here, right? She's using semicolons, right? She's using quotations. She's fucking slovenly member of that august body. This is technical skill, but that's all she's got. She's got technical skill, but she doesn't know how to actually string together sentences that make sense. Such as the big bold one, mayor of a small town that actually shrank under his watch. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Right? If you were to write this and an English professor were to read this, they'd say, what the fuck does this mean? F, you fail. It doesn't matter if it's a slovenly small town, August, whatever the fuck. That doesn't matter. Right? Using fun, like buzzwords and like, you know, all this kind of stuff, the semicolon. Now, again, I love proper grammar, right? But this idea that this bitch is going to lecture people when she can't even create a coherent, like, this is multiple paragraphs of incoherent babble. Like, this bitch herself is illiterate as fuck, and she's going to go out there and say, we must all speak standard American English. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, give me a goddamn motherfucking break, okay? Let's move on. Now, again, what the fuck does this have to do with fucking John Fetterman? Like, I mean, like, what? Like, okay. Seattle schools teach that Western math is used as a tool of power and oppression, and that it disenfranchises people in communities of color. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. One, I don't believe that quote. I don't believe that she is accurately quoting them. And then also, 1B, I don't know what that means. Western math, I don't know what Western math is. And I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I mean, I'm an anarchist from way back. I'm as woke as they come. I don't know what the fuck Western math is. Hey, I dropped out of high school. I already told you. Okay. Is used as a tool of power and oppression, and that it disenfranchises people in communities of color. I'm going to be honest. No fucking clue what that means. Like, so if that is a real quote, I feel like there's missing context there. But also, I don't know what the fuck that means. So let's see what her interpretation of this is. According to a reviewer from the Hoover Institution, is it any wonder our kids aren't scoring well on international assessments? So, okay, let me get this straight. A policy that has gone into effect like over the last 6 months is responsible for multiple years of intelligence downtrend. It's definitely not COVID, though. I mean, you know, ongoing pandemic disabling 500 million people globally. Definitely not that. Definitely not that. Has nothing to do with it. But it's a policy that hasn't even really gone into effect yet. It's at one school. One school has a policy that hasn't even gone into effect yet. And that's causing a nationwide crisis. But it's definitely not the global pandemic. And this has something to do with John Fetterman's gym shorts. Like, yo, I mean, again, we are like the dumbest bitch of dumb bitches. Like, you ever see like Paranormal Activity 3, right? You know that scene in Paranormal Activity 3, like at the end where they open the door and there's like the coven of fucking witches, you know, and then like the one is like runs at the camera and then the movie's over. I think that's Paranormal Activity 3. Anyway, this fucking moron would be the one that runs at the camera, right? She is the fucking craziest of the crazy. She is this is a horror movie type character here. Like, what the fuck? Okay, so John Fetterman wears gym shorts. The Senate dress code changes like this week. And that is somehow so in this, like, the only way this argument makes sense is that like John Fetterman, now that he's changed the dress code, maybe this goes into the, you know, the John Fetterman body double conspiracy. So check this out. So John Fetterman is a time traveler. This is the only way this piece makes sense, okay? So John Fetterman's a time traveler. He got the Senate dress code changed. Then he went back in time, right, to do something so that standard American English would no longer be required. I don't even know what the fuck that means. And so that, like years before any of these policies happen, kids start getting dumber, and then John Fetterman time travels back, but he makes a mistake, and that's why there's 7 John Fettermans. You ever see this? Look it up. There's this conspiracy that there's at least 7 John Fettermans. It's fucking insane. So the only way that any of this makes sense is that he's a time traveler. And you know what? Honestly, if anyone's a time traveler, it's probably John Fetterman. Let's be honest. Bowing to the lowest common denominator in education is hurting our kids. It is also undermining law enforcement. Yo, what? 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 John Fetterman wears gym shorts. Leads to a policy in a Seattle school, which leads to nationwide decline over the past 3 years before any of the first 2 things even happened. Leads to undermining law enforcement. On his 3rd day in office, New York District Attorney Alvin Bragg published a list of crimes he would no longer prosecute, like trespassing, resisting arrest, or turnstile jumping, crimes that, apparently, Mr. Bragg felt were inconsequential, and for which people should not be held accountable. Now, first of all, I just want to say this. Trespassing shouldn't be a crime. I agree. Now, if you trespass and fuck something up, like if you go on someone's property and like fucking destroy their lawn gnome, I agree. Fuck you, right? That's my goddamn lawn gnome. Go fuck yourself. But the idea that trespassing, like just like hopping a fence as a way to like shortcut or something, you know, has anyone ever done that? You're just walking through town and like maybe you're really excited to get home, so you just hop a fence and walk through like a fucking neighbor's yard or some shit. I've done that before. The idea that that should be illegal and that you should go to jail for that, I'm sorry, man. Now, is it weird? Is it weird that if like someone looks out the window and they see you do that is a little concerning possibly for them? Yeah, maybe. But like the idea that we should call the cops because someone shortcut through my yard, I'm sorry, I don't believe in it. And resisting arrest, like how the fuck can you be arrested for resisting arrest? Like okay, now again, why would you be prosecuted for resisting arrest? Shouldn't you be prosecuted for the original crime? Right? Right? Because if you're resisting arrest, cops want to arrest you. And if they want to arrest you, they are accusing you of another crime, right? So why would you act like, what is resisting? Oftentimes also resisting arrest just means like you sneezed while they're putting a handcuff on and like your arms jostled a little bit. And then they're going to say, stop resisting. And then later on, they'll do a transcript of their body camera audio and they'll say, well, I said stop resisting. So that means that they were resisting arrest. So, I mean, okay. And then you have turnstile jumping. Like, I mean, public transit should be free. So, I mean, that's just as a matter of principle. I agree with that. But like turnstile jumping is like probably the worst on the 3 here. Probably the most like actually maybe you should prosecute. Now again, as a matter of principle, I don't believe public transit should cost anything. So I agree with turnstile jumping. When I lived in Washington D.C., I often I didn't jump the turnstiles, but the classic tactic is, you know, it's a busy day. You know, you just fucking walk right behind somebody because those fucking machines were slow the way they did it. Anyway, just a little tip out there. You don't actually have to jump. But anyway, and this is all related to John Fetterman's gym shorts. Inconsequential to whom? It certainly matters to law-abiding citizens of New York if someone is threatening their neighborhood, and consequentially to the subway system that an increasingly number of passengers are riding for free. Now, what does that mean, threatening their neighborhood? So someone getting prosecuted for resisting arrest is the only protection we have for our neighborhoods? What? Incoherent. I mean, like, incoherent is putting it nicely. I mean, holy shit. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I did not anticipate this piece being so entertaining. But also, I haven't done one of these in a while. So, I mean, you know, maybe it's just the novelty again is getting me. But all of this has to do with John Fetterman's fucking gym shorts. New York City Councilman Robert Holden, a Democrat, blames Bragg's ridiculous edict for the unprecedented lawlessness we see on today's city streets. He is correct. So it's no longer illegal, or I should say it is still illegal, but he will not prosecute someone for jumping a turnstile, and somehow that leads to increased murder rates? What? Okay. In New York, there is a not-for-profit called Parents in Action that helps families deal with little issues like allowances and big problems like substance abuse. At one gathering, the speaker told parents to set boundaries for their children that are strict as they could manage. Kids expect and need those restraints. Wait, what? The speaker told parents to set boundaries for their children that are strict. Kids expect and need those restraints. But what are the boundaries? The message was this: teens are bound to break the rules that's in their DNA. If you give them a curfew of 10 p.m., they will come in at 11. If you permit smoking cigarettes, they will take up pot. What? What the fuck? Okay, I'm serious. I'm sorry, but like every paragraph is impressively less coherent than the previous. In New York, there is a not-for-profit called Parents in Action that helps families deal with little issues like allowances and big problems like substance abuse. At one gathering, the speaker told parents to set boundaries. What are the boundaries? For the children that are as strict as they could manage. Well, I mean, what? And what the fuck does this have to do with crime? And what the fuck does this have to do with goddamn John Fetterman's fucking hoodie? I can't even really understand that one, I'm not gonna lie. How much more of this fucking shit is there? Okay, it's almost done. Jesus Christ. Alvin Bragg and other permissive DAs take the opposite course, loosening the rules and inviting bad behavior. They disregard the successes of broken windows policing. Broken windows policing is when a cop lies, pretends that there's a broken window, then they break the window themselves in order to harass a black person. That's what broken windows policing means. So I should probably make sure that that's readable on the screen. I apologize. Which helped to turn around crime in Detroit and Manhattan. The theory of broken windows is that cracking down on small crimes creates an atmosphere of orderliness, which reduces the commission of more serious crimes. Yeah, also, I disagree. Let's just put it that way. Across the country today, we see unchecked thievery, with criminal gangs systemically robbing stores. Yeah, police. Police steal more shit than all burglaries in the entire country combined. That's a little fun fact for you. Civil asset forfeiture, look it up. And also, police are criminal gangs. And also thievery, such as wage theft and inflation caused by corporate greed. That would also be thievery. But no, they're talking about someone going to CVS and stealing condoms, I guess. So, Chicago's mayor is considering opening city-run grocery stores to fill the void left by companies who have moved out, blaming out-of-control theft. These costly assaults on our commercial enterprises have been inspired, sanctioned by law enforcement, ignoring the shoplifter who pockets a candy bar. If he isn't held to account, criminals reckon the door is open. So someone stealing a candy bar is somehow related to John Fetterman's gym shorts, is somehow related to Seattle schools being woke, is somehow related to fucking criminal gangs systemically robbing stores. Like, yeah, do people steal things from grocery stores? Yes. Is that a problem? No! These corporations make shitloads of money. As far as I'm concerned, their prices are obscene, right? Inflation is not just because of the coronavirus pandemic, but inflation was mostly 80 to 90% because of the corporations taking advantage of that, making it a reason like, oh, there's going to be some inflation. So, you know, the COVID pandemic causes some inflation. So they're like, well, there's inflation and inflation's inflation. So they just fucking jack all the prices way up. I say steal a candy bar, steal 5. Just don't get caught. That's all I'm saying. Don't get caught. Be smart about it. Go to different stores, different chains, different all that stuff. Should I say that? Am I allowed to say that? I'm not sure. Fetterman is not important. With luck, he will eventually disappear. Anyway, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want to read the rest of this. But, but click here to read more from Liz Peek. I mean, I can't wait. Let's look at the comments. Great article. The shame is it had to be so long and still just scratches the surface. What Schumer has done by allowing Fetterman to change a long-practiced dress code of the Senate exemplifies what Democrats have done to our country. You simply cannot have a society that has controls, restrictions, policies, or rules based on the wishes of an individual. What the fuck? Yo. AI. These comments, AI. This is AI. There's no way these are real people. He lived off his parents until the age of 49 and has had one job as Stuntman's mayor of a small town that actually shrank under his watch. Now, he insults and disgraces the country with gym shorts and hoodies. How many in PA voted for him? Says more about us than him. What? He insults and disgraces the country with gym shorts and hoodies. I'm losing my mind here. I'm about to go crazy. So I gotta turn this fucking shit off. Anyway, there's John Fetterman Gate. Shout outs to John Fetterman. There you go. After declaring victory on the coronavirus pandemic 17,505 different times, Joe Biden's government is going to be handing out free COVID tests that are probably not as accurate to the new strains. So get them anyway, because free is free. Check it out. But just a reminder, everybody, the pandemic's over. It's not real! COVID not real! According to the Joe Biden government. But at the same time, they're giving people free tests. So that's interesting. The bulk of this will be reading an article from the Jon Snow Project. For those of you that don't know, the Jon Snow Project is a project, it's a group, I guess, that is dedicated to the memory of Jon Snow. Jon Snow is one of the founders of modern medicine when it comes to viruses, when it comes to the spread of disease and that kind of stuff. And so they're basically a group of people that write about disease and especially viruses and other stuff like that, like bacterial plagues and all that kind of stuff. And I want to read this article because and I know this is the part where most of the viewers are going to tune out. Oh my God, talking about COVID again. Oh my God, I got to go see Barbie. I got to go see my favorite musician. I can't be bothered to know that COVID's gonna half my lifespan. Oh my God, why does she keep talking about this? Does you know the pandemic's over? I know that there's a big chunk of my viewers right now. They're thinking that. They're posting it in the fucking chat rooms, whatever the fuck. She keeps talking because you're all fucking stupid. You're dumb motherfuckers. And you know what? I'm going to keep talking about COVID until my audience is 100% people that are informed. I don't want stupid motherfucking bitches watching my shit. I'm sorry to go on that little preemptive rant here, but let's go in. The headline of this is COVID-19, a new disease paradigm. What if SARS-CoV-2 continues to infect us even after the initial symptoms fade? So I've been saying this for a long time, but still I need to say it again. COVID is not just the acute phase. COVID is a multiple year-long disease. Okay? When you get COVID, there is a chance that your body can fight it all off. A chance. An unlikely chance. In fact, I'm going to bring up one of my favorite articles here. Let me look this up. Most people in the United States, when I say that, 93% of people are in poor cardiometabolic health. What does that mean? It means your heart is probably dealing with some form of mild at the minimum or severe at the maximum inflammation. You may have heard the term myocarditis. That's what that comes from too. But it also is something that's correlated with immune system deficiency. 93% of Americans have one of the largest, if not the singular largest precursor for pre-diabetes. Or for diabetes, I should say. And that also means that they have poor immune health. Now again, it's not a binary. You can't have a good immune system or a bad immune system. There's a spectrum. So am I saying 93% of Americans have autoimmune disorders? No. But they have some level of immune deficiency, right? So that's where we're at. 93% of people, mostly related to the poison in the food supply, have a shitty immune system. This is before the pandemic. Actually, it was 88% before the pandemic. Then there was another study done that found that it went from 88% in 2019 to 93% in 2022. So it's actually increasing the rates of cardiometabolic disease. So with that in mind, let's read this. With that in mind, real quick, let me go back to what I was saying. COVID is not just an acute disease. You don't... well, I stopped coughing, so COVID is gone. No, it just moved from your fucking lungs to other organs. COVID likes to hang out in your heart. That's what causes myocarditis. COVID likes to hang out in your gut, right? Which is where it can seep into the rest of your body. It can get into your bloodstream. It can get all across your body. It can get into your liver, your kidneys, all of your organs. There have been autopsies done on people that have died from COVID. Or just died, and they had long COVID, and they found out that COVID was found in almost every organ. COVID can get from your blood, from your lungs to your blood to your brain, and cause neurodegeneration, motherfucker. Right? COVID is not it's not the flu, right? What is the flu? You get sick for a little bit, maybe you deal with some immune damage. If you have a healthy diet, maybe you'll recover to complete recovery within a month, 2 months, right? This is not COVID. COVID is a multiple year-long disease, okay, motherfucker? And if you get COVID, every single time you acquire this virus, especially if it's different strains, it's going to fuck your body up in multiple different ways, okay? I just want to say this. I am a very privileged person right now. I have not gotten COVID. I know almost all of my viewers have gotten COVID at least once, right? I don't have any fucking friends. I don't have any fucking family members that I talk to outside of one or two people. Guess what? The only people that I talk to on any somewhat consistent basis, they've all got fucking COVID. Okay? So I understand I'm in a privileged position, okay? But I need people to understand you do not want to get COVID, and it is a priority that you need to put above every other aspect of your life. Right? The idea that Barbie is worth a lifelong debilitating illness is fucking insane. And the magical thinking of well, one of these days there's gonna be a vaccination or a cure. And then, okay. And my question is, will you be able to afford it? Because the answer is fucking no. So, do not get COVID, okay? And if you get COVID, eat no sugar whatsoever. Consume a regular probiotic, right? Consume high immune response vitamins, such as in fruit and vegetables. Try to limit your sugar intake. I know I just said that. No fucking soda, no juice, no crackers, no cakes, no candies. I know you're Americans, motherfuckers, but when you eat sugar, it destroys your fucking body. And when you get COVID, you need to maximize your fucking health. Okay, so the first inkling that you get COVID, stop eating all forms of sugar. Get some really high quality foods inside of you. Consume a regular probiotic for at least, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Make sure that you're constantly replenishing your microbiome inside of your gut. This is an important fucking deal because it can affect the rest of your life, okay? Now, again, the acute phase is mostly related to coughing, sneezing, headaches, that kind of stuff, because when your body engages in a new war for the first time, and especially what is the most able delivery mechanism is inside of your lungs, right? It's going to result in coughing. And when your body is dealing with a new contagion, right, it's going to have a lot of immune response all across the body and preparedness, right? Once COVID becomes dormant in the body, and when I say dormant, I mean it's just everywhere. I guess you could say endemic in the body, right? The body's immune response also, which, by the way, is suffered, and I'm going to get into this. I want to get into this. COVID is airborne AIDS. You heard it here first. Maybe you didn't, but that's what it is. What it does is it destroys your immune system. And when your immune system is destroyed, what happens is, guess what? you're not going to feel those acute symptoms as much. Why? Because those acute symptoms are not necessarily the virus. Some viruses cause some acute symptoms, right? That are like, the virus rips apart your fucking esophageal lining and it causes you to like throw up blood. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is the immune response causes a lot of the symptoms that we know about when it comes to acute COVID, right? Such as like, you get a fever. That's an immune response, right? And so what happens is COVID gets around your body, it dodges your immune system, and it kills your immune system. And so that's why a lot of the acute phase ends, and then you get into the chronic phase. Like, you can't smell anything for fucking 7 months. Like, you just, like, every time you stand up, you forget why you got up, right? Every time you walk into a new room, you don't know why you're there. That's because COVID is still fucking your body up. It's just that there's no acute symptom happening, right? Again, I said this before, but it's like having lung cancer, right? Like, you can have lung cancer for 5 years and not even know. You don't even know. Maybe you have a little shortness of breath, but hey, maybe you're just getting old. Maybe the air is frigid, right? Your brain will come up with any other fucking excuse because humans are wired to be fucking stupid, right? We have to evolve out of our primate thinking. But again, and then the moment you cough up blood, you might think, whatever. And then you cough up blood again 3 weeks later, and then you finally realize, maybe I should go get it checked out. Oh, you got lung cancer. It's been there for 3 years, and you had no fucking clue. That's what long COVID is, except in a lot of instances, long COVID actually does have very severe symptoms, again, such as severe brain fog, neurodegeneration, irritability, right? Fatigue. All kinds of stuff, the loss of sensory input. Why is that happening? Because your brain's getting fucked. Okay, your brain is getting fucked. I need you to understand this. So now that I've done like a fucking 30-minute preamble, I don't know how long it is, let's read this article because there's very important information in here. A recent study from the University of California, San Francisco used advanced imaging techniques to identify persistent T lymphocyte activation in many parts of the body up to 2.5 years after acute. Now, what does acute mean? It means like the initial, like the coughing, the sneezing, the headache, the fever, that kind of stuff. That's acute. Okay, chronic is long-term. So just so you know what these terms mean. 2.5 years after acute SARS-CoV-2 infection, the team found T-cell activation in the brainstem, spinal cord, bone marrow, nasopharyngeal, this thing, and hilar lymphoid tissue, cardiopulmonary tissues, and gut wall. That's the intestinal lining. This activation was significantly higher than pre-pandemic controls. T-cell activation in the spinal cord and gut wall was associated with the presence of long COVID symptoms. But T-cell activation was found even in those who were not experiencing any long COVID symptoms at the time of imaging. So you can have long COVID, but you don't have, and again, that's the thing about like fatigue, is that it is so nefarious. People will just slowly get used to having lower and lower energy, and they'll associate it with like, maybe I'm depressed. Maybe I'm just getting old, right? So that's like a common symptom that people don't even know is a symptom, but also there's people that they just have no symptoms, and it's still ravaging their fucking body, and eventually a symptom will pop up. So let's keep going. A T-cell activation was found even in those who were not experiencing any long COVID symptoms at the time of imaging. T-cell activation in the lung was associated with noticeably higher pulmonary symptoms. The team also found SARS-CoV-2 RNA in rectal tissue in all symptomatic participants, ranging from 158 to 676 days following initial infection, suggesting that viral persistence could be associated with long-term immunological dysfunction. Airborne AIDS. I want you to tell your friends. Airborne AIDS. That's what you're doing when you're going to Taylor Swift. When you're going to a movie. I don't want to fucking harass people that I know my audience likes. But I was watching this episode of a popular podcast, 1 million subscribers, and the whole team had a COVID outbreak in the studio. And then one of those members said they went to a wedding. There's a COVID outbreak in the studio for your left-wing podcast that has 1 million viewers. Then you go to a wedding and infect everyone at the wedding. I mean, probably everyone there is infected too. And then you have the audacity to say that on a live stream. Wow. I mean, my God. Like, the respect that I had for certain people. Right, gonzo. Right? That's fucking crazy ass, fucking irresponsible garbage. And these are the people in charge of what left-wing thought is on this website. These are the people that are the certified leftists, the most popular, most respected leftists. And these people are fucking ridiculously stupid, right? Now, again, if people were to understand that this is airborne AIDS, would people feel sick and then go to a wedding without a mask on? Probably fucking not. If they truly believe that AIDS is bad and that COVID causes the same responses as AIDS, which it does, is what we're finding out. Maybe it's not the same identical thing, but again, how do people who have AIDS die? Most of them die not from AIDS directly, but because their immune system is so fucked that it either kills themselves, which is one thing, or another random virus that doesn't even affect normal people will just somehow kill them because their immune system is destroyed. So they'll get killed by any random one-off bacterial thing or infection, any small thing that normal people, like even the 93% of people that are metabolically ill, they would probably not even flinch at getting a certain kind of bacterial infection. They might, have like puffy something for like a couple hours and they'll be fine and someone with AIDS will die because their immune system is so ravaged that it can't respond to anything, right? That's what we're finding out long COVID does. Now, when people got HIV, did they die instantly? Instant death? I spawn, I die? Is that what happened when you got HIV? No. HIV developed into AIDS over the course of, in a lot of cases, 5 years, 10 years for some people, right? 2 years for some people, right? And then they die of something else because their immune system is destroyed. That's what's going on here. The study adds to numerous others that have found evidence of persistent infection months after acute illness. A recent review of viral persistence in the context of long COVID outlined the evidence that points toward ongoing infection or viral protein or RNA replication. The evidence of persistence is not limited to people who are exhibiting symptoms of long COVID. One study found persistent infection in the tonsils of 25% of asymptomatic kids. We're talking about kids. The ones that Donald Trump and Joe Biden told you were magically immune to all disease. Joe Biden and Donald Trump constantly told you, send your kids to school, send your kids to school. They're magically immune. Once a kid turns 18, then their immune system knows, oh shit, we're 18 now, so now we can get infected with any virus. But if you're below 18, you have a force field, that's what Joe Biden and Donald Trump in a united front told you, and then you sent your kid to school because you believed them because you're fucking stupid, okay? And now your kid probably has a lifelong debilitating illness, so congratulations. Now, I don't want to be too mean to parents here. I understand parents, you've already made a series of really fucking stupid decisions, so, I shouldn't expect too much out of you. Now, again, am I anti-parents? Yes, someone's got to be tough on these motherfuckers, right? Parents are the norm. Parents are the standards. Everyone loves to pretend that parents are doing the best they can. I disagree. Parents are the reason we're in this fucking mess. Fuck parents. Fuck you, okay? Now, this doesn't apply to everyone. I know. Just fucking calm the fuck down if you're getting triggered by me, okay? Jesus Christ. Anyway, but evidence of persistence is not limited to people who are blah, 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 25% in children, while other studies have found evidence of persistent infection in children in other organs. SARS-CoV-2 proteins, including spike, have been found in long COVID and convalescent blood up to 12 months after initial infection. One study found spike protein in the plasma of 64% of long COVID patients and 29% of convalescent controls. The protein is likely derived from persistent SARS-CoV-2 in tissue reservoir sites and leaks into the blood where it can be measured. The UCSF imaging study also adds to those studies that have found persistent T-cell activation. One study published as a preprint. I'm sorry, I'm drinking a lot of coffee, so I got a little acid thing going on here, so I apologize. In another study, blah, 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 where was I? Preprint found an association between activation of specific T-cell subtype and the propensity to test positive after apparent recovery. In another study, the same T-cell subtype was found to be elevated 12 months after acute infection. Now, again, one thing that we have to understand here is who knows how many times they're getting repeatedly infected with COVID in between acute infection and when the studies are taking place. Unless they're isolating, like I've isolated my house for several years, and I've only left the house and really to just go to the doctor, and that's it. And so unless they're doing that, they probably got COVID again or multiple times, right? So that's another factor. That's an X factor. It's hard to really say. But either way, we're seeing the damage that either one COVID infection or multiple infections over time are doing. I'm hopped up on caffeine, so just give me a break here. In another study, the same T-cell subtype was found to be elevated 12 months after acute infection in subjects, whether they have suffered mild or severe illness. Now, again, the mild thing, totally made up. It's a conspiracy theory. The government made it up so that you would go back to work and you wouldn't feel bad about it. Mild COVID, think about it in the terms of COVID, right? Mild just means your host lives longer and spreads your kids' genes as long as possible. That's what a mild infection looks like, right? You slowly kill the host over time, right? But not too quickly, right? Slowly over time. In a lot of instances, you're even asymptomatic. That's so mild, you don't even know what's happening, so that you can spread your genes and use the host as a way to do so. It's like, you know how trees bear fruit, right? So that animals will eat them and then shit the seeds out all over the place, right? So that the trees will grow all over the place. That's basically what COVID is doing to your body, right? But instead of eating an apple, you're going to see Barbie because you're a fucking loser who can't think for yourself. I'm sorry, I just want to say, like, if you saw the Barbie movie, any movie, but the Barbie is the popular one, and I love to shit on popular things because I'm a contrarian, but if you've gone to the movie theaters for any reason without a mask on, dumber than dog shit, honestly. I mean, the sooner the better. Time is ticking, and the sooner the better for you stupid motherfuckers. Unless you want to get your shit together, right, unless you want to actually be an activist and take the shit seriously, go fucking fuck yourselves, okay? Go fucking fuck yourselves. You're killing the rest of us. You're making it so that I can't step outside for multiple years. I hate you. I hate everything you stand for. I hate your life. I hate people like you. I hate all things about you. I hate motherfuckers that are pretending like the pandemic is over. On an individual level, I despise you. I wish the worst for you. You know how, like, there's a lot of YouTubers out there that are like, I don't wish suffering on anybody. Yeah, I'm not one of those people. Fuck all you motherfuckers. Same thing with concerts. Same thing with, like if you are in favor of going to schools, like if you're doing any of this shit, you are dumber than dog shit, right? If the least you can do is wear a mask, right? But it's not just that. You have to limit your fucking shit. If you have a job, yes, you have to go get to your job. That's a duh. We know that. Wear a mask while you're at work. Oh, your job really sucks for COVID transmission? Maybe look for another job. I know it's unpopular to say this on the left, right? Leftists are afraid of, like, you know, because in a lot of left-wing spaces, if you work in the service industry, you know, you work there forever, I guess, right? Like, you can't ever look for a better job, even though that's a trend that's increasing, right? It's called quiet quitting. You may have also known as just doing your job. Whereas people are just doing the minimum at their job and looking for higher jobs. That's something a lot of people do, but you're not allowed to say that you should do that because then it's like classist or some shit. Go fuck yourself. If your job is something that's giving you COVID over and over, look for another job. Your life is at stake, motherfucker. Your life is at stake, okay? So now that I've got that out of the way, most people have clicked off. Let's keep going. Expanded T-cell populations in the pharyngeal lymphoid tissue of children weeks or months after infection was observed in another study. An activation marker CD38, H ladder, and Ki67 were similarly expressed months after acute infection in people with and without long COVID. Basically, what that means is you are fucked. These are all markers. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what each one of these are. I know about T cells. I know about CD38s, right? I don't know about each one, but each one is a marker of immune health. And basically, all the markers are your immune system not doing so good. Not doing so good. Now, again, they put poison in the food so that your body, your natural healing process that your body has, can't work because of the poison in the food supply called sugar, called fructose, called corn syrup. Right? That's basically putting you in a state, combined with a pandemic, right, that is based on a virus that is destroying your immune system. So 93% of Americans, their immune system's already fucked to begin with. They're in a state of unhealing to begin with. Then a virus further destroys them. And then they continue eating junk food because they're Americans and they're too stupid to think for themselves and think about food as anything but a drug because they're addicted. Now, again, am I saying drug addicts are bad? No, I'm a drug addict. I'm addicted to sugar. Yeah. That's right, I'm addicted to sugar, and I will be for the rest of my life. And as a result, I choose to limit my sugar intake maybe once a week. I'll have a sugar, maybe not once a week. You know, I've been trying to, not do once a week, but, sometimes I'll have like a little piece of candy, once a week. But that's my limit. Why? Because I know I'm addicted. In the same way that alcoholics, right? Some alcoholics just quit cold turkey. Some, they'll say like, oh, I'll have a drink on my birthday, and that's it. right? That's their way of doing it, right? Like, oh, it's the day my fucking parent died. I'll pour their favorite fucking scotch into a glass and I'll fucking drink it in their memory. But that's the only time I have alcohol. Similar to like religious people where they drink the wine or whatever the fuck, right? Like, that's what you should be doing on sugar. If you're not doing it, you're a drug addict. Now, again, am I saying that makes you a bad person? No, but the first step to healing a drug addiction is awareness. And most Americans don't even know that the food they're eating is a drug. So that's what I'm trying to say here. Let's keep going. Immune CD8 plus T cell activation was observed in plasma of convalescent patients irrespective of developing long COVID, with participant CD4 CD8 ratios remaining low 6 months after COVID-19 diagnosis. Higher levels of plasma EGA against SARS-CoV-2 S and N proteins and redistribution of CD8 plus T cells expressing the mucosal homing of, beta 7 integrin were identified in long COVID. Basically, what this is saying, I need you to understand, I know I'm reading all the jargon, but I know if you don't understand what the words mean, I don't know what all the words mean. That's how I learn, by reading this fucking shit, right? It should scare you. This is fucking scary. A lot of people say, oh, you're fear-mongering. Yes, motherfucker, yes, I'm fear-mongering. If you hear gunshots, and then someone screams, everybody get the fuck out, there's an active shooter, would you accuse them of fear-mongering, motherfucker? Like, what are you talking about? Yes, of course I'm fucking fear-mongering. You should be scared. If you're not scared, you're too dumb to live. And Charles Darwin wrote a book about people like you, and it's not gonna go so well. That's all I'm saying. If UCSF imaging data are verified, then they suggest that everyone who has had COVID-19 might have been subjected to these effects, and that ongoing immune activation might be a common feature of all COVID-19 infections, regardless of perceived long COVID status. A possible explanation of persistent activation would be persistent infection, now evidenced in a number of SARS-CoV-2 studies, and seen in other viral infections such as human cytomegalovirus, and Epstein-Barr virus. In immunological terms, with regard to the activation of T lymphocytes, the UCSF study suggests people who have recovered from COVID-19 might be on the same spectrum of people with symptomatic long COVID. Now, again, the recovered thing, I hate to break it to you, unless you can get some imaging study done on you to determine you have no active COVID and virus in your body, there is no recovery from COVID. I'm sorry. Like, that's a fantasy. And it might make you feel better, but I don't know. God makes people feel better. That doesn't mean God's real, right? So, in immunological terms, with regard to the activation of T lymphocytes, the UCSF studies suggest people have recovered from long COVID, blah, blah, blah. I already read that. And just as it is possible to have asymptomatic acute COVID-19, it is possible to have asymptomatic or post-symptomatic long COVID, where the biological effects are experienced less keenly and again, like, you just have slow, like, we're talking over months, right? Like, just every couple weeks, maybe you go to bed a little bit earlier, maybe you sleep in a little bit longer, maybe you'll walk a little bit less, you move a little bit less, you're a little more tired, and you don't notice it because humans can adapt to anything. Apparently, humans can adapt to a genocide going on that's killing everyone in the world, and they're fine with it because they're fucking stupid. Humans can adapt to everything. Why? Because humans are fucking stupid. We got here in this society by accident. By accident. Most of humans that have ever lived, 99% of humans that have ever lived are fucking stupid, right? They're fucking dumb. And the only reason they've survived is because of accidents of nature, right? And I'm not trying to sound like, like a biological essentialist here, because I hate that fucking shit. But what I'm saying is, right, a lot of these things are going to catch up with us. Everyone, 93% of Americans being addicted to junk food and causing them to have poor immune health. A pandemic that specifically targets the immune system. Like, I'm telling you, right? Everyone pretending that the virus disappeared magically overnight, and they're calling getting COVID in the summer flu, because it definitely can't be COVID. Going to a concert during a pandemic. Like, these are things that stupid people do, and eventually it's going to catch up. Right? Because, yes, stupid people can survive and procreate by accident. Natural selection was a lot more relevant thousands of years ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago. Now with society, we're in a different playing field. Natural selection takes on a different form, right? And so stupid people are more likely to procreate, and again, it dumbs down society. And so what's happening here is most people, as it is in this current society, are fucking stupid. I know a lot of people think that I might be sounding ableist. I'm sorry. If you think me calling someone going to a Beyonce concert during a pandemic dumb is ableist, then we just have to agree to disagree, because those are some dumb fuck bitches, okay? I'm sorry. I know maybe some people don't like the word. Let's try idiot. Let's try moron. Let's try dumb fuck. Let's try shit for brains. I know it might trigger you. I'm sorry. But naughty language is not something I'm concerned about during a global pandemic that has resulted in me, someone who I'd like to think is intelligent enough to not want to get a plague that destroys my immune system for the rest of my life. I can't leave my house because of you stupid fucks. You stupid fucking morons are preventing me from leaving my house. Now, I know a lot of people, oh my God, so triggered, just go live with COVID. Why don't you just live your life? Well, I am living my life. And guess what? In 10 years, I'd like to compare and contrast our immune health. That's all I'm saying, okay? By the way, you know, one of the common conspiracy theories that people might be thinking, immunity debt. You have immunity debt. No, that's not a thing. There is no such thing as immunity debt. Anyway, let's keep going. The biological effects are experienced less keenly are controlled sufficiently by the immune system so as not to manifest symptoms or to manifest them mildly. So what that means is your immune system is treading water, right? It's treading water. It's barely keeping the containment of the virus. And again, eventually the dam's going to break. So yeah, you might have had an acute phase of COVID and you recover, and then like you don't notice any neurological decay or anything, right? Let's say 15 months later, all of a sudden you have a heart attack. What happened? There's a rise of young people having heart attacks, right? But no one wants to say what's the elephant in the room. It's fucking COVID, you stupid fuckers. There are more people saying that the rise of cardiac arrest is related to vaccine injuries, something that's completely made up. Vaccine injuries are not a thing. I'm sorry, motherfucker. Now again, in overall grand contexts, every vaccine that's ever existed, are vaccine injuries a thing? Sure. Sometimes some people have a negative reaction to a vaccine. But the idea that during an ongoing pandemic, right, who are the most likely people to talk about vaccine injuries for the COVID vaccines? Republicans. Who are most likely to be getting repeat infections because they don't believe in masks? Republicans. So who is more likely to get long COVID because of COVID, even after they have like maybe 1 or 2 shots like 3 years ago that are no longer effective, right? So, like, now again, just to compare it to things that maybe you would be more logically receptive of. If you got a flu shot 10 years ago, and then you get the flu, right? Would you claim you got vaccine injured from the flu shot 10 years ago? No, that would be fucking stupid. That's what Republicans do about the COVID vaccines. Why? Because they're motherfucking stupid motherfuckers. But no one is talking about the elephant in the room that it's, I don't know, COVID? You know, the thing that attacks your fucking entire fucking vascular system, your circulatory system. It attacks your heart. It's definitely not that, though. I mean, again, hell on earth, right? You can read more of this. It basically just goes into more of the effects. Let me read this part here. The issue we face is we may not know the full extent of harm until it is too late to remedy it. That's why I'm not getting COVID. I refuse to get COVID until there is a verified cure that exists. Now, that's not to say, like, once there is a verified cure that has a 100% success rate, I'm not just going to go and get COVID for entertainment. I'm going to still try to avoid it. But I'm not even going to do anything that risks getting COVID until that exists. And if it's going to be 5 years, I'm going to be the crazy bitch doing YouTube videos who hasn't left the house in 5 years. If it's 10 years, I'm in. Whatever it is, you know, I'm in the vault. And I'm waiting for the radiation to clear. That's the way I'm living my life. And I get it. I'm very privileged. I have the ability to do this shit from home. I have the ability to spend extra money on like grocery delivery and that kind of stuff. I get it. I'm extremely lucky. And I want to use my position of luck to assist as many people as possible because this pandemic is not over. It is just getting started. It is just getting, like, we are in phase 2 of the pandemic. Phase 1 was people pretended to follow the rules. They didn't actually believe in any of the underlying science, but they just followed the leader. Then the leaders told them that COVID magically disappeared. Now we're in phase 2, where COVID magically disappeared for 99% of people. Somehow, you ask them how it happened, they can't really answer that question. But they'll say, "Trust me, bro." Right? It just went away. Joe Biden wouldn't lie to me, right? Joe Biden wouldn't lie, right? About COVID, he would definitely not lie. The CDC director would never lie to me, right? No, never, not possible. So we're in phase 2 of the pandemic. I don't know how many phases there's going to be, but I know phase 2 is not the end phase. We're going to be here for a long time. If this is doomeristic for you, get used to it. 2019 is over. 2019 was fucking 4 years ago. 4 years ago. You are not living with COVID if you're living like it's 2019. I'm sorry. Okay? That was 4 years ago. This is like Make America Great Again, but for liberals, communists, leftists, and people that identify as anything left of Hillary Clinton. They'll shit on Joe Biden for everything, but the COVID thing, no, Joe Biden's got my back. DSA. What happened to DSA? Oh, they're doing a bunch of maskless indoor conferences now during another COVID surge. How great. So socialist of them. Right? We're in it for the long haul. Hey, don't shoot the messenger. So, that's a show, I think. It might be a show. Could be, possibly. I don't know. I don't know how long it was. Judging by what time it currently is. I didn't look at the time when I started doing this, but judging by the time it currently is, it was it's a show. Feature-length film, possibly. Maybe you should show it in schools. Hey, if they got PragerU in schools, sign me up, right? I would like to say that as of this moment, I'm going to end this program by announcing that I will be doing an Above It All show once a week. I am shifting to a once-a-week format. I reserve the right to change back to a more frequent format in the future. But right now, where I'm at in my life, I cannot handle doing a show like this every day or every other day. So I'd rather focus on quality instead of quantity. I hope you can understand that. And so I'm going to put more effort into doing a once-a-week show. For right now, they're going to be pre-recorded shows. I know a lot of people like the live show environment. People like me reading the chat. I understand that. I am not mentally in a spot where I am willing to do that at the moment, and that's all I'm going to say. I don't feel like doing a live stream. I just don't, okay? I reserve the right to take breaks in the middle of my production. And this also gives me the ability to have a little bit more fun with the format, experiment a little. So I might come back with a live show in a couple months. But right now, I don't want to just ghost everything. So I'm going to be doing a once-a-week show. Right now, I'm thinking Friday. If anyone has a better suggestion, like leave a comment on the video. Don't post it in the live thing. Leave a comment. If another day is better, if whatever, like just pick a day. I mean, maybe I'll run like a poll or something. Just pick a day, whatever you think. I don't know, Friday seems okay. And maybe I can change the time. I don't know, if it's a pre-tape, I'm willing to change the time as well. So you let me know about all that. And yeah, I don't know.